episode 183 of the Parkrun Adventurers podcast. Not since event number 50 at Kiwana Parkrun on the 5th of October 2013 has the number 183 been so important in my life. I came in at 183rd position at event number 50 at Kiwana, and today it's the 183rd episode. I am joined by the wonderful, enigmatic PK.
How are you, Mel?
I'm great. How are you doing this week?
I'm good. Yeah, no, I'm really good. It's a beautiful night. I realise people may not be listening to this at night on the Tuesday night that it is that we are recording, but I'm great. It's a beautiful warm night here in Adelaide. Just been for a walk. And I don't know if you can hear the dull thud. Probably can't, but there is a small band playing in Adelaide tonight. Not many people know of them. They're called U2, I think. Some small band that are having a little concert at a small Adelaide Oval tonight here in Adelaide.
So you got some doof going on in the background.
Something's going on. Bono's getting a bit excited. But it was meant to be Kiss as well. So tonight, Kiss was meant to be playing in Adelaide at one concert at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. But as many people know, Kiss had to cancel all of their Australian tour because Paul Stanley's not well, which is not great. Anyway, but a beautiful night here in Adelaide, and great. And thanks once again for inviting me to be part of this this excellent podcast. I love it. As I continue to say, it's wonderful that we're still getting out there and doing this. Or me, I only have to do it every 8 or 9 weeks, but you're doing it. And thank you, Mel. It's wonderful. I know a lot of listeners out there. Thank you for keeping the dream alive.
Oh, you're welcome, PK. Thanks for showing up.
Yeah, I'm here.
And speaking of showing up, where did you rock up to Parkrun on the weekend?
A bit of adventuring. Went to West Beach, which was awesome. It's a beautiful parkrun. It's down, as it suggests, on the coast at West Beach. A bit of adventuring. My 5th time there. My 146th parkrun, so getting closer to my 150. Which I'm hoping will coincide with a special day happening in December, but talk about that later. But West Beach is a great course. It's along the Torrens River. Well, it starts near the beach, and then it heads along, hugs the beach, and then it hangs right and it heads up the linear park trail. So along the Torrens River, it's actually one of 3 park runs here in South Australia that are on the linear park trail. That actual trail runs all the way from Athelston up in the foothills all the way down to West Beach. It's about 46 k's in total. But the other park runs that use the linear trail are Torrens, which is, of course, the first park run in South Australia, and Lochiel. It was great. It was really good to get out there and enjoy it. Tourists, chat to a few people. Actually, I thought I was to do a bit of roving reporting, and I chatted to a few crew.
G'day, yes, it's PK here, not doing a roving report because you're going to hear enough from me anyway. But I am on an adventure, as I've just been talking about, so down here at West Beach. And when they said, is there anybody from other park runs, of course, us Mount Barkarians put up our hand, but so did this young man. Ian, where are you from?
I'm from Kettering, England. If you think of a map of England and put a pin in the middle of it, we're pretty much in the middle of England.
Wow, so, very cool. And Ian, what brings you to Parkrun, West Beach Parkrun?
Well, I've come to visit my son Alex, who's run today with me.
Awesome.
I did my very first park run about a year today here in West Beach.
Oh, wow.
And then I've been doing them in my home Kettering.
Oh, so you did your first park run in Australia, and then you've gone back there to do the UK.
The first one was in Australia.
Wow. So there's a few... G'day, Alex. How you going?
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Good on you. Yeah, great. So where was your first park run?
Down in Cornwall at, where was it? The Paul Kitching park run, actually. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, we were just talking about how good the park runs are in Cornwall. I've done Lanhydrock, I think it is, which is a beautiful park run. And so your park run journey, did you start it and then you got Ian involved, or how did it roll?
I used to run quite a lot in the past, so I've done marathons and lots of GP races and things. So I used to do park run, just a little warm up, really. So. in
well
between
done.
20-mile runs, actually.
That's very impressive. And Ian, so you're have you done many more back in the UK then?
This will be my 12th now today. So
awesome.
Each time I've improved my time.
Awesome.
And in fact, I've taken about 13 minutes off my time from the very first one here.
Great.
The only time I didn't improve my performance was when at my home run they changed the route of the course and put it in reverse, and of course it's more uphill.
Confuses you a bit more of a challenge.
Yeah.
Well, good on you. So, and why do you do parkrun?
just to get fitter, because I was completely unfit. And now I'm much better. I can run for 5K without too much of a problem, whereas before I could only run about 100 yards. So.
Well done. Yeah. Well done. And why do you do parkrun, Alex?
It supplements my training. So I play soccer.
Nice.
In a Masters League, actually. That's showing my age, isn't it? Over 35s.
It's all right, mate. Yeah, exactly. You can be master of anything, really. No.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry that just got cut off, but it was really good chatting with those guys. Awesome to see them enjoying parkrun down under. One of them here and the other one on his travels. And I then had a brief chat with the RD of the day as well. Let's hear from the RD.
Okay, then I'm now here with Greg, who was the run director today. I can't help myself. I need to chat to a few more people. Well done, Greg. How did you think today went?
Yeah, good crowd out today.
Yeah, what numbers are you usually getting here?
So we get anywhere from 200 to 300 runners.
Yeah.
It really depends on the weather. The weather's a big factor, I think, down here, because we're on the beachfront.
Of course.
Can be a bit windy and a bit wet from time to time. So
beautiful today, really.
Yeah,
low 20s.
Not too bad. Fairly still. So not a lot of wind around today, which makes it good PB weather.
Yeah, well, I hope there will be a few people, and it's good to see. It's certainly and well done on corralling the crowd at the beginning. I know you guys have had a few challenges with people stinking to the left and yabbering when you're doing the speech. That was me, by the way. I'm telling everyone to be quiet.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. That's very helpful.
Oh, mate, I just, some people, as we've said, and this is, just a shout out to everyone out there, because, yes, you've heard the welcome speech before, but it's respect, really, isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
and, it's not a big onerous thing, to wait that sort of 5 minutes as we go through the pre-run brief. It's part of parkrun. I think everybody needs to just understand that, look, stop and listen. There may be something important come up that wasn't there before.
That's it. And you've got plenty of time to chat on the run or afterwards. So
right,
anyway, I think everyone really appreciates all the awesome work that the volunteers do. And so I just want to really say thank you to you and say thanks for a great parkrun. We've had fun. It's a beautiful course. I've done it a few times now over the years. So and it hasn't changed, which is great. There's no surprises, but it's great, and it's great that that we get to share it with the other people, because it is a popular path. But it's great to see people here. Good community. Well
thank
done.
Thank you for coming out.
Good on you, Greg. Thanks. Cheers, mate. All right, that's enough of me. Back to me and Mel. Cheers.
Yeah, so that was really good chatting with Greg. And yeah, as you probably heard, I was the one that actually decided to encourage people to be quiet, because it's annoying, isn't it? As we all know.
Oh, it's just disrespectful.
Yes.
Really.
It is.
And you miss important stuff.
Yeah, look, and I know the first time this briefing is working, I believe, and I know that the whole idea of that is to tell people who may not have been to parkrun, but there's still going to be important stuff that you may have missed out on. I'm not a fan of it, and I'm not sure how people manage to get through it. I suppose they just keep on talking, or they hope that someone like me turns up and tells everyone to shut up.
Yeah, well, in the UK, they actually have gone down the path. And I'm not sure if this is blanket across all events or if it's only some of them, but you know how at golf they've got those people that stand around the edge with the little signs that say "quiet, please," and they hold them up when somebody's about to putt or something like that. My only experience of this, I never watch any golf. I've learned everything I know from Happy Gilmore, so. But I'm pretty sure the signs are the same in real golf. They wouldn't have just made that up for the movie. And so there's some events that have these little quiet please sort of paddles that they hold up. I don't know how effective they are, but at the very least, I reckon if they didn't get people's attention and have the desired effect, you could go and smack the offenders over the head with them.
With the paddle. Oh, well, it was...
Not that we condone violence.
Of course not. But I'm hoping that maybe next week, I won't be back at West Beach, but so maybe someone, it will stop me, and maybe one person just maybe worried that I might be there telling them off again. But anyway, it was a great park run. Loved it. West Beach is awesome. I highly recommend anyone in Adelaide getting along there. And, of course, during summer, you can always fall in the beach afterwards. That was fun. How about you? Where did you park run?
I was run directing at home. There was a couple of special milestones happening on Saturday, which I really wanted to be there for. We had 2 volunteers. One of them was joining the 25 volunteer club, and her name is Katie, and she's the youngest person ever at Kawana to join it. She's in her teens. So that was very exciting for her to earn her purple shirt.
Mm.
And the other one was a gentleman named Dave. Everybody I know named Dave is just awesome. I don't know if you've had that experience,
Absolutely.
but
yes,
we've got Dave Robbo's a regular on the pod. We've got Dave Moss, who is one of our Channel 5 news crew. He's awesome. Every Dave I meet, I've never met a bad Dave. Anyway, I digress. So this particular Dave was doing his 100th ever volunteer, all at Kawana Parkrun as well. So we wanted to make a bit of a deal out of, well, I say we, I mean me, wanted to make a bit of a big deal out of that. I spent a big portion of Friday afternoon with Wes making him a chocolate cake. I'd found out the week earlier from his wife that he loves chocolate cake. I thought, right, that's it. I'm going to make sure there's a cake. I'm going to have 100 on it or something like that. Mm-hmm. I have been known to make a cake or two in my time for parkrun in particular, and they've all gone down pretty well. This time I went with a Martha Stewart recipe because Martha never lets me down. Oh my goodness, PK. The results that came out of my oven could be used as either lethal weapons or frisbees. They were flat and dense and hard, and I don't know what I did wrong. And it was maybe it was my little sous chef Wes and him helping to mix and put the ingredients in. I don't know what's happened, but I was extremely embarrassed, and I had actually done a Facebook post on Friday night promising cake, and I thought, I can't take this. I can't take it to parkrun. I can't inflict this on the unsuspecting parkrun public on the Sunshine Coast. So I literally had to put it in my pre-event brief that it's the thought that counts. I did promise there would be cake. I did make a cake. I haven't brought it for this very particular reason, and I'm sorry.
I thought you'd just smother it in icing and 100, hundreds and thousands for 100 and take it, but no.
Not even icing would have redeemed this stuff. People could have broken teeth, and then there would have been, liability claims against parkrun for damaged bills, or it just would have been bad. It would have been really bad. Fortunately, Katie's mum, Kerry, made a fabulous cake. Just saying thank you to both of them as well. So at least there was some cake.
That's all right. And weren't you? Wasn't there someone else celebrating something pretty important as well? Maybe you?
Well, nobody actually knows about my little thing. Yeah, I celebrate it in my own head and in my own heart, and leave it at that. Let's leave it at that anyway.
That's good.
Yeah, nobody else, certainly at the event knew what was going on. We'll just say I did tick off one of my New Year's resolutions, so I'm very happy to have done that. I think that's 2 out of 3, and once again, I still can't remember what the third one is. But I will go back to listen to earlier episodes of our pod from this year just so I can figure out what that other one is before the year is out, because otherwise chances are I'm going to not achieve it if I don't know what it is. Or maybe I've already achieved it. Who knows?
Exactly. Who knows?
Howdy parkrunners, Toc reporting in for the Channel 5 news crew. Today Jack and I have travelled up to Maryborough to participate in the Goldfields Reservoir parkrun. Maryborough, for those playing at home, is located in the central goldfields of Victoria. It's about 160 kilometres from Melbourne. It's a reasonably dry type climate up here. Maryborough is a city with about 8,000 people, so a pretty reasonable size regional town. The parkrun is 3 laps of a reservoir around a bush track. I've been out this morning and run the course, and it is absolutely stunning. I'm really looking forward to this one. There's a great crowd gathering here. Looks like really good numbers. Talking to a few people at the start line. There's a lot of locals here, which is really great for an event that's only up to week 4. We'll have a run and we'll check in later. Cheers, guys. Howdy Park Runners, we've finished our 3 laps of the lovely Goldfields Reservoir. I'm with Belinda, who is the founding ED and today's RD. Belinda, event 4 today, how are the numbers looking today?
Yeah, good. We've got over 50 this week, so that's a good number for us here. I actually reckon we'll probably get close to 65, 70, so that's yeah, good.
You've actually got a really great contingent of walkers coming in at the moment too. You've engaged a lot of people from the community out there already.
Yeah, we've got a lot of, so we've got a few that will do a sub 20, a couple of young runners, which is good, and then we've got a lot of walkers as well, so it's a good diverse mix, young, old and slow and fast, so yeah, nice steady stream coming through.
So where we're sitting at the finish line, I'm looking out at the reservoir. The course goes around the reservoir. You can nearly see the whole lot of it, but it winds in amongst the trees. Just give us a little bit more rundown on the course.
Yeah, it's it's actually just been newly done up, so it's quite wide. It's quite suitable for prams. You can fit quite easily 3 or 4 wide in most areas. We've got one little narrow bridge, which can slow a few of the runners down, but it keeps them on their toes. But yeah, it's a very, very nice, stable course, and we've had a lot of good feedback on it, which is great.
The surface is fantastic to run on. It's really well compacted, but it's not hard. It's really great.
Yeah, they've put a lot of effort into getting it into a great shape, ready for everyday use. For a lot of locals use the area out here, but for parkrun as well, which is great.
And what was your background in parkrun? Where did you start your parkrun journey?
I actually did my first parkrun in Kahuna. My sister convinced me it was a great idea to come along and see what it was all about. I'm not a runner myself, I'm only a walker, but decided that it was great to be able to get involved in the community, and I've completed a leadership program this year in Maryborough, and as part of that I decided that parkrun would be a great thing to bring to Maryborough.
It is, yeah, it is a great thing, and I've got to pull you up there. You're not only a walker. Walkers are the most important people out there.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a runner, definitely a walker.
No, look, it's a lovely course, Belinda. You've done really well. It's a great thing. Great to see people sitting around talking, and the number of people that have already said they're headed over for coffee, so I think we'll go join them.
Sounds great. Thanks, Tony.
Ahoy, all ye park-loving adventurers. It's Chief Deck Scrubber here, Lyndall Scarface Runnerlegs, reporting in, and I've cut my jib and set sail before Jack Sparrows this morning to sail me 7th sea at Cormorant Bay. Now I have to find my trail legs today, as not just my land-loving legs. As Cormorant Bay is off-road, the trail winds through the bush beside Lake Wivenhoe. So to get there, you follow the setting sun, and 1 hour west of Brisbane to Cormorant Bay. Now, with no treasure map to guide me around the course, I'm going to tune my ears into the Captain Park Lubber to do the briefing, so I know where to go and I don't get lost. I will check in with me hearties after the run. Alrighty, Park Lubbers. I'm here with Captain Park Lubber, Charmaine. How are ye today?
I'm fantastic, me hearties.
Excellent. And our Cormorant Bay, how long have we been landlubbing here?
We have been here for just over a year, maybe a year and 3 or 4 months. Yep.
And how many park lubbers do you get on any given park lubbing day?
Oh, probably about 30 keen runners. Yep.
Do you get many pirates in these parts?
You know what? We've actually had pretty consistent pirates over the last year and a bit. There's always someone coming out as a pirate.
Well, that's because you're Brisbane's 7th sea. Arr.
Yeah, well, about 5 o'clock the waves come in, so I guess it's pretty much a sea. Yep.
Captain Charmaine, how did you get into park running yourself?
Well, my mate Jodie, she runs the local Rocket Fitness gym down the road, and it was her little venture that she took on, and I sort of was new to the town, and I wanted to come out and help and be a part of the community and kind of see it take off as well, so I jumped on board with Jodie and come out here and regularly volunteer and run direct with her, and we've got a few run directors on board now, so there's a bit of a pool of us and we all take it in turns and it's great.
Lots of mateys being the first mate.
Lots of mateys are.
So a fairly small park run here. That must mean that you all know each other and have a nice little community.
You know what? We do know each other, but every time I do the athlete briefing, there is always someone new. Yep. There's not one week I've done where there hasn't been a new person come along and run. So it's fantastic. Someone comes and tries it every week. Yep.
And many tourists?
Always campers, because we've got Wivenhoe camping and Somerset camping, so there's always some weekend campers coming in and giving it a crack. So yeah, they don't know what they're in for though. I don't think they know it's a trail a lot of the time. So they come back pretty wary of the hills.
Yes, especially if they're pirates. They're used to the sea, not the trails.
Oh, they definitely have their sea legs when they're finished.
Yes. So describing the course for me, Captain Charmaine, what can you tell me?
Oh, it's pretty hilly. Yeah, it's pretty loose, pretty wild. Yeah, I think you might get shipwrecked out there, me hearties.
Well, hopefully we don't get shipwrecked. Hopefully we find our way. Hopefully there's a treasure map to guide us back home.
Yeah, there's a bit of chalk out there on the course. There's a couple of flags. There's a couple of witches' hats. You'll be right. Just follow on.
I'll follow the Jolly Rudgers then.
Just follow Kelly over here. She knows the course. Kelly's a regular pirate.
Arr.
Is it Pirate Day? 7th season and R.
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for talking to me, Captain. We'll get out there on the course and hopefully find our trail legs and be able to get back here.
Have a fantastic time.
Arr. Alrighty then. I've found a couple of likely young lads. What's your name?
I'm Rory.
And I'm Jack.
And you're park lubbing today?
Yes.
Yes, I love park running.
What do you like about park lubbing?
Well, I like it a lot because it's much more better than staying inside than most kids do. You actually run outside, and even though it gets very tiring and you might get really let down since you have a long way, it's actually really fun. And you get to look at everything, you get to run in the morning, and yeah, you don't have to sleep in.
No sleeping in. No rest for the wickeds. And do you come to parkrun here at Cormorant Bay very often?
This is probably one of my over the 5th time I've done it, but I enjoy it a lot. This is my 3rd time in Cormorant Bay. The Cormorant Bay is probably the hardest one out of the ones I usually go to. I've been to Gatton and I think I've been somewhere else, but I forgot the name. Yeah.
Cormorant Bay is a tough one for sure. It'll sort the sheep out from the goats. Don't you worry about that, laddies. Now, how about you? What's your parkrun adventure story?
It's good.
What do you like about it?
Like the exercise and just spending time with people.
Alrighty. Thank you for talking to me today on the Park Lubbing Adventurers podcast.
Thank you too. This was awesome.
Alrighty, park lubbers. That is a wrap from Cormorant Bay. This is Lyndall Chief Deck Scrubber signing out. Officially a pirate now on the Park Lubber Adventurers.
Good morning, Parkrun Adventurers. It's Melissa here, and I'm coming to you from the lovely little central Victorian town of Euroa. Now, Euroa wasn't our original destination this morning for parkrun. We actually headed out to event 2 of the Benalla Parkrun. However, there was issues with access to the course. So we had one of those mornings where you find out at the last minute that parkrun's cancelled, and you quickly pull out your tourist tool to find where the next closest parkrun event is. And we made a slightly hurried car trip to the little town of Euroa. So here we are, but it's not a bad parkrun to be diverted to, I got to say. We were here for the launch, and it was a rather cold, misty morning that day, and today the sun's out. It's a beautiful, clear morning. It's one of the pretty parkruns, so got to find the silver lining. The event team was really fabulous. Very welcoming, and it was a small group, and look, it all worked out in the end. And guess what? Benella's still going to be there for us another day, so we shall see who we can talk to. Okay, I'm here with Ali at Euroa Parkrun. welcome to the podcast, Ellie. Would you like to tell us a little bit about how Euroa Parkrun came to be?
Sure. Yes, so we first had a conversation early in January on our Euroa community notice board, where I knew that there was interest from about a year previously to start up a parkrun. So I went and visited Cormorant Parkrun, and my good friend Ebony Knox introduced me to the world of parkrun. I came back to Euroa and decided that we definitely needed one for our community. So we put together a setup team which consisted of about 10 of us, and then myself and Renee Drysdale, we decided we would both be co-EDs and work together with our setup team to start spreading the word, putting the applications through to Parkrun Australia, got our event ambassador Bruce Purdy to jump on board with us. He helped us find our track, and that was a bit of a mission in itself, finding the 5Ks in our lovely park.
Yeah, so explain the course, because it is a little bit tricky, where it's got a couple of little loops around the bridge. So give us a bit of a course description.
Yeah, so our course is a bit of an all-rounded track. We've got concrete pathways, we've got a grassy area, we've got bitumen, we've got sort of sandy gravel bits, we've got little tiny hills and bends and twists and turns. So basically we've got some nice lovely wooden signs for our start finish and some of our turnaround points. We've got marshals obviously on the track as well. But yeah, we're starting off where we're running along a footpath, coming down and underneath a bridge and around a human hovel big rock monument, and then across the pedestrian bridge where the cars go across the road. Then down onto a grassy area, which is a huge loop around Charles Kemp Park, a bit of a dog leg there as well. And then we come back under the bridge, along a hedge, and then onto a bitumen path all the way out to what's called a butter factory turnaround point, and then you turn around and follow your nose back the same way. So it is a bit tricky, and we definitely advise our visitors and first-time park runners to have a careful listen to the brief and talk to the locals, follow the person in front of you, all those rules.
So, and what's this river here?
Yeah, so we're on the Sevens Creek, which this basically is up from the Strathbogie Ranges right down to, I guess, through Shepparton and then over to into the Murray.
It's very pretty.
Yeah.
I wasn't sad to be diverted this morning to Euroa Parkrun. We were here at the launch, and it was very cold, frosty morning that day.
Yes.
How has the community developed since the launch? How many events are you up to?
So this is today. We mark our 80th event, which is really exciting. On our launch day, I think we had about 150, I think, attend, and that was just massive for us. Really great to see lots of people from other parkruns coming and supporting. Since then, we've obviously starting in May, so we saw the beginning of winter, so we had lots of numbers drop off. We had some very cold mornings here, lots of frosts, but it's ran every week. We haven't had any hiccups or mishaps or anything like that. We probably would generally average between, I'd probably say 30 and 60 people, just depends. Obviously when footy season and things like that sort of wrap up for the year, our numbers will spike a little bit, which is really great to see.
It can be a big thing for the smaller towns,
it can,
can't it?
Yeah.
The footy season and the families tend to...
Definitely, and we're noticing now that obviously we're sort of coming up into our new year next year, just seeing the seasonal park runners that come out when it is a bit warmer, or the ones that only do it in winter and things like that. So that's really cool to see as well, people returning.
Yeah, and what's your parkrun history? When did you first start parkrunning?
So I started, my first parkrun was actually just as a volunteer at Cormorant, which was, would have been not last New Year's, but the New Year's before. The week of that, and then I went over to Shepparton, walked Shepparton's just to see what that was all about as a participant, and then just slowly sort of went around to a couple more, and then we were very much focused on getting our track sorted, so lots of freedom runs and walks before that, and then pretty much we were launched by the 18th of May, so that was
pretty quick going, really, from January to May, like to have everything sorted, and off we went.
So have you had the chance, obviously you've probably stuck close to home being your baby, and still relatively new, but have you had a chance to adventure interstate or on holidays?
I have, definitely. So so obviously Shepparton, I've gone down to Eastern Gardens in Geelong. I've done one in Narrabri, New South Wales.
Yeah.
I also went overseas and have done Bushy Parkrun.
Oh, jealous.
Which was fabulous. Also did one in Scotland and Ireland as well.
Okay.
So it was really good to see how it is done over there, especially Bushy. Bushy was just fabulous. I think the day I was there, they had 1,300 people running. It was like a running event. It was huge.
It's usually in the top three or four in attendance in the world every week. So amazing.
It was great.
One day I'll get there.
Yes, definitely should be on everyone's bucket list.
Well, it was great to talk to you. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
And good luck for the future of Euroa Parkrun.
Thank you so much.
Good morning, parkrun adventurers. It's Greta here, and I've got a real adventure for me today. I'm doing my first international parkrun. It's very exciting. I'm here in New Zealand, and this morning I'm going to be doing Lower Hutt parkrun in Wellington. So I'm staying in Wellington, and I'm doing Lower Hutt parkrun. Lower Hutt was the first parkrun in New Zealand, so it's a bit of an adventure to get there. I'm going to be catching a train, and then when I hop off the train, I'm going to either try and find a bus or walk to parkrun. So it's very exciting. Wish me luck. Hopefully I get there.
Next station, Wanda.
Okay, so I'm off the train. Part 1 complete. So I think I'm going to decide to walk now because I'm super early. So Google Maps, my faith is in you. Okay, so I think I've arrived. If Google Maps has done the right thing by me. So I'm by the side of a river. I'm very early, so there's no one here yet. By the side of a river, there's a little sort of township to one side. And now I'll just wait. And hopefully the event team will be here soon. All right, so I've now done my run and I'm here with Margaret. How you going, Margaret?
I'm good.
And you're doing timekeeping for us today. Thank you so much.
Yes, love timekeeping.
Yeah, and you were saying before that you do a kind of a random pick of how many runners you're going to have.
How many? We have a guess. Yeah. So all the volunteers guess and we see who gets the closest.
Okay, and your guess today?
2:27.
Right, and what are we up to now?
2:21.
2:21.
Yes.
Right, so we've only got 6 more runners that we can allow.
6 more runners, yes. That's it.
And then
after
that's
that,
it.
we're stopping.
We're closing
closed for the day. Good on you, Ruth.
Well done. Good job. And so how long have you been involved in parkrun?
I've been involved for a few years because I've got a special needs son who comes.
Okay.
I've never run parkrun.
Haven't you?
But I've volunteered about 150 odd times.
Oh, you're a legend.
Yes. So I come along and I volunteer while he runs.
Okay.
Yes.
And is he a speedy one?
He's one of the speedy ones. He's always
because I think I saw him at the front.
Yes,
there.
No, he runs with Special Olympics and it's so inclusive parkrun. Like you can have special needs and come along and everyone includes you. It's great.
Yes.
So we're very happy to have found parkrun because he loves to run.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah.
And how long has he been doing parkrun?
We started in 2014, I think it was.
Okay, long time ago.
Yeah, quite a while ago.
And always at Lower Hutt?
No, we've done several in a couple of other countries here.
Oh, yes. Which countries?
We did Singapore. We've done 3 or 4 in Australia.
Right.
And Singapore. That's all.
Yeah.
And quite a few around New Zealand.
Right, so you've done a little bit of touristing.
Yeah, a little bit of touristing.
Yeah,
yes.
wonderful.
Yeah,
wonderful. And you've met lots of people through parkrun as well?
People, yes. No, it's wonderful. Because I've done the timekeeping so many times,
you get to talk to
people. Yeah.
Well done. Good
and
job.
know when they've done a PB. Well done. That's it. Oh,
well done. Oh, I think you just.
Yes, she did it. Yep, I got you. Yep. 2:26.
Excellent. It's working.
Working. We can only this is the last lady coming through. That's 2:27. Cutting off at that.
Margaret says no more.
No more. No, there's a few few more out there.
There is. Good one. Thank you so much for having me at Parkrun today. I've had a great time here.
Our pleasure. Sorry about the wind.
Could you just stop that?
Could
you stop that for me?
Yes. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah. No, you get used to that here at Lower Hutt. Yeah.
Well, it pushed me on the way out, but it wasn't so friendly on the coming back.
No, that's the problem. Yeah.
No, it was a lovely day. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay.
All right, I'm now here with Sandy. How are you going, Sandy?
Good, thank you.
So we were congratulating each other that we both started and we both finished.
Indeed, yep. That's what it's all about, starting and finishing. Yep.
So we did really well, didn't we?
Yes, indeed. Yes, yep. Very good.
So this is your home park run, Lower Hutt?
Yes, Lower Hutt's my home park run. So, been coming for about 3 years now, so I really enjoy it and love the amount of people we've met. And
you meet some great people at Parkrun, do you?
Awesome people. And then they start to support you with all of your running. It's just really, really, really great. So, great for its comradeship. So,
Yeah, it's more than just a run.
Oh, indeed. Yep, coffee afterwards and catch up with, people. So, it's more than a run. Friends. Yep.
And I think in Parkrun, I like saying that you've got friends all around the world when you're part of Parkrun.
Oh, absolutely. And that's so much the case. When you go and do a parkrun somewhere else, you're always made to feel incredibly welcome, and you just feel like you're part of it no matter where you go. So it's really, it's a great thing.
It's a good initiative, isn't it? And you've done some other parkruns in New Zealand?
Yes.
Which ones have you done?
I've done Pororoa, Kapiti, Palmerston North, Napier, New Plymouth. Haven't done any down south yet, but that'll
be an aim. on the itinerary.
Yeah. And one in Australia.
Which one?
Cairns. Yeah.
And I think you were saying before it was quite warm.
Oh, indeed, yes. I was worried that we wouldn't actually manage to run it because of the heat, because we're not quite used to that here in cold Wellington. So,
Well, it's very, very windy today. Is this windy for Wellington? I mean, because I know Wellington is windy, but is this windy for Wellington?
Yeah, no, it was probably a little bit windier today than what most days are. But with Lower Hutt, I think that's something that puts a lot of people off coming sometimes, is the fact that we get quite a bit of wind. But but a good training though. It's good training.
Resistance training.
Yeah, absolutely. So.
And how many parkruns have you done now? You've been doing it for 3 years.
Yeah, I've done 25 volunteers.
Yes, you got your purple
shirt. Yeah, got my purple shirt, and I've done 112. So
So your 100 shirt?
Got my 100 shirt, Just aiming for that 250 now.
I know. It seems like such a long way away, doesn't it, when you're at 100?
I know, they should have 150, 200.
Keep you going.
Yeah, for real.
And what got you started in parkrun?
It was actually a friend of mine, and he was a sort of a motivational speaker. That's what he sort of does, and he was just talking about come along and see. And I was hooked from the word go.
Well, yeah.
And then just started to set myself little goals, each time. I mean, initially I had to walk the whole thing, and of course my first goal was to be able to, run it. Yeah. And when I did that was amazing. And then you just set yourself little goals along the way. Still got some goals I want to achieve next year.
What are your goals for next year?
Well, I've managed to do a 30:06.5, and I want to get under 30 minutes. That's where I'm aiming for. But
that's achievable. It's in your sights.
I hope so. I hope so. It feels tough at the time when you're trying to get there, but I hope so. But and the thing with running too, I think, most park runners find you have your goods and your bads, and at the moment I'm going through a bit of a bad lull with running, so
you just got to keep going, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. And
wait for that good to come.
And it'll pick up again. So, forever hooked with parkrun. Be here forever.
It's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah, he'll have to push me in the wheelchair when I can't run it anymore. So.
Well, thank you so much for having me at Lower Hutt Parkrun and being so welcoming. It's been lovely to be here.
It's our privilege to have you here. It's really nice. Thank you.
Thanks, Andy.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
See ya.
All right, so I'm now here at Post Parkrun Coffee, and I'm here with Mark. How are you going, Mark?
Hi, doing all right.
And you're the event director of Lower Hutt Parkrun.
Yep, been doing it for about 6 years.
Yep, that's a long time.
Yeah, and I was run director for a couple of years before that. So.
Yep. The founding event director?
It's a guy called Richard McChesney who set up in 2012.
Yep. So I think you were telling me before that he went back to the UK and you stepped up?
Yep, we've had a couple of event directors at the start there. He went and came back and then went again. So
okay. Couldn't stay away.
No. He's a Kiwi who lives in UK now.
Okay, yeah. Well, he can't be event director all the way from the UK.
No.
Tell the listeners about the Lower Hutt course.
So it's a nice flat course, but as everyone would have discovered today, it's probably the hardest flat course that you would ever do because of the prevailing wind. On the way back, you kind of get a nice headwind in the northerly.
Yes, well, it was helping me on the way out, but then on the way back, it wasn't helping me so much.
No, it's not a good day for a PB today.
No. But it's a nice paved course, and it goes along the river. What river does it go along?
It's the Hutt River, so yeah, along the riverbank there, and then just a couple of grassy sections at the end and at the halfway.
Yeah, and you go under a bridge and past a school and
under a bridge, past a couple of schools, under a rail bridge.
And today was your 400th event?
Yep, 400 today,
yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
And you get fairly good numbers here at Lower Hutt?
Yeah, we're normally between above 200, so...
Yeah, they're good numbers, aren't they?
Yeah, it's probably what fits on the course.
And you had a young lad out the front today who was going fairly fast. How fast did he end up going, do you know, in the end?
16:41.
16:41. Is that a course record?
No, our course record's 15:25,
wow.
Which was done on the first event.
Oh, really?
And once more since then.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. So the lad that ran today, was he regular?
No, I didn't recognise him.
Okay, so a blow-in who wiped the field.
He's probably done it a couple of times, I imagine, but he looked like a fairly light lad. I mean, did fairly well in the wind. We probably got blown around a bit.
Yeah, he did, Well, thank you so much for having me at Lower Hutt Parkrun. I've had a great day, and it's a great atmosphere here at Post Parkrun Coffee.
Thank you. Nice to have you.
Oh, how good was that? Great to hear from Tok, as always. Another cracking report from the Goldfields Reservoir, which looks great. I checked out the photos on Facebook from the weekend. It looks like a beautiful park run, and I love the fact reservoirs are being used for park runs. So actually, here in South Australia, the government is starting to open up all of the reservoirs one by one for recreational use. And where I work at Fuller, we actually did the marketing and are still doing the marketing for it, and have shot some great footage of people using the reservoirs, and actually some of the local running groups were used for that as well. So yeah, I don't know, it's made me think perhaps there's an opportunity for a reservoir park run here in South Australia. It'd actually be interesting to know how many there are in Australia or around the world that are around a reservoir. I don't know, do you know of any others?
Well, Hobart, they run around a reservoir, and I know
Mount Gambier is around that's the Blue Lake. Is that a reservoir? I don't know.
But you know what? This has got me thinking, PK, and I know I shouldn't, but I can't help myself sometimes coming up with new unofficial clubs. You could, if you did all the reservoir park runs, you could be a reservoir dog. The club could be Reservoir Dogs.
Yes. Wow. And they'd be there. Oh, man, we could go off on many a tangent there, but that's actually not bad. I like it.
That would be cool. That would be a club I'd like to get involved in. And of course, Goldfields Reservoir is in Maryborough, Victoria, not to be confused with Maryborough in Queensland, which is the birthplace of Mary Poppins author P.L. Travers. It sounded windy, but it was lovely to hear talking to Belinda down that way.
Awesome. How good was Lyndall keeping that accent the whole way? There's no way I could have done that.
Have you got a pirate accent, PK?
I can never do accents. See, I can't even. I think I'd go from being Irish to being Indian.
My pirate accent is Irish. It's 100% Irish. It's like, I'm pretty sure that pirates are not Irish necessarily. However, when I do a pirate accent, I sound Irish, possibly a little bit drunk Irish.
Well, it was very impressive. Lyndall, getting her final 7th C for a pirate club. And again, it looked great on Facebook with her outfit, and she posed for a few photos with her swords, and it was good. I thought it was really good to hear from the RD that they, no matter, I think they've done 66 maybe parkruns now, and they've always had new people, always have visitors, probably for the Sea Club, no doubt. But one thing when I was doing, when I thought I'd go and have a look and read a little bit more about Cormorant Bay, where Linda was the chief deck scrub, it's worth noting that the female record holder at Cormorant Bay at 22:02 is, and that being, let's note, it being a C for the Pirate Club, is one Catherine Swords.
Oh, I love it when that happens.
So her surname, Swords, at a Pirate Club parkrun. So I think that's pretty cool.
That's brilliant. And hey, congrats to Channel 5 News Crew's Gary Murphy, who serendipitously also joined the Pirate Club, walking the plank on the weekend at Castlemaine Parkrun. I love the Pirate Club. I think I've said this before. It is my favourite of all the unofficial clubs because it's fun and it's not too difficult to get into. It's just everything that an unofficial club should be.
Absolutely. I think the challenge for South Australians is we've only got 5 Cs. You have to head interstate if you want to be a pirate if you're based in Adelaide, so which is another good thing as well. It supports adventuring, so I love that as well. Well done, Gary.
And then, of course, we had Melissa Ellis at Euroa making a little bit of a last-minute dash to get to parkrun after some unanticipated changes to her weekend.
Yeah, it sounds like a great diversion from the original plan. When I heard Melissa was going to Euroa, it actually reminded me of a time that I actually went to Euroa as friends of ours owned the Euroa butter factory and had a party there. So it was excellent to hear that the turnaround point in the interview there is or the turnaround gum tree, as it's referred to on the course description, is actually the entrance to the old butter factory, which is now a beautiful function centre. So, yeah, awesome part of the world, Euroa. So, and it sounded beautiful. And good on you, Melissa. Sounds like a lot of fun.
It does. And then, of course, we had Greta overseas getting her first international parkrun in. How exciting is that? Do you remember which was your first international parkrun, PK?
My first international parkrun was the wonderful Bushy Park. I had to make it bushy, hey? It was far out. It was a few years ago now, 4 years ago, 2015.
Oh, how do you follow that up, though?
Oh, well, I managed to do it on International Parkrun Day, and it was the 12th birthday of Bushy, and they had 1,212 people. I reckon they may have fudged the results there, but anyway. But long-time listeners of the podcast will remember I managed to meet the man himself,
Mr. PSH.
Interview him, and that was my first international parkrun. Anyway, we're here to talk about Greta's, which was great. It was really good, and I can't wait to actually catch up with her next week and find out more about windy Wellington. It certainly did sound. I don't know if it sounded windy, but it certainly. I looked at a few of the photos, and the course looks great. It goes along the Hutt River, which sounds a bit challenging. I think there's a bit of a headwind on the way back, as they were talking about. But it looked like they've got an event 400. So what's that? Nearly 8 years of Lower Hutt. So lots of people in their 250 T-shirts. So sounds like they get a healthy crowd along there.
They do. And I've got New Zealand in my sights I haven't done a parkrun over there yet, but we just had word that my brother and sister-in-law are going to be moving over in a few short weeks, and that means cheap accommodation. So I've already begun Googling events that are quite close. Looking for cheap flights as well. It's hopefully going to be on the agenda for 2020.
Awesome. Hey, look, and whilst we're on Roving Reports, it's worth mentioning Cameron, because I know the challenge has been issued. We haven't heard from him. Have you got any update on how Cam's going?
Well, he is a no-show again this week, unfortunately, in terms of Roving Reports. I hear word on the grapevine is he made it to parkrun, had a very short stay, actually managed to grab himself a PB for his efforts. He was so short in terms of being at parkrun. No submission for the challenge this week. So either it's been super tricky, really, really hard, and he hasn't quite managed to do it. I look forward to when he does finally submit it, because I'm assuming he's going to give us the history of any other previous attempts that may have failed. However, it's all crickets from Cameron this week.
Well, I'm sure there are a few roving reporters out there who did the hard yards, and we know that they did that, so they're probably smirking away going, yes, they know that feeling. So
poor Cam. I'm sure we'll make it eventually. We really want you to, well, when I say we, I'm speaking on behalf of myself, Cameron. I want you to succeed in this. I want a West Australian roving reporter on the crew, because I think you can bring a lot to the podcast. So I can't wait to hear from you.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I can't wait to hear from you too, Cam. Bring it on, mate. Let's do it. So, Mel, one thing I was looking at on social media during the week on parkrun, and I noticed something about a baton relay. Now, I know there's going to be a few groans out there because other people have heard about the baton relay, but I know the other parkrun podcasts talk about it. But for me, the first I heard about it was when Scott Watkins was talking about it, having it at Albert Park, and then I think he handed it over to, the reason I heard about it is to Lorinda Wishart, who's one of our parkrunners at Mount Barker. So I'm assuming it's now going to travel around to South Australia. Can you bring us up to speed on, for those who have no idea what I'm talking about, the baton relay?
Yes. Yes, it was Albert Melbourne's 8th anniversary on the weekend. Happy anniversary, guys. And they were privileged enough to receive one of the Leeds Building Society's gold batons, or batons, however you would like to pronounce it. Now, this is for the uninitiated, for the listeners who don't also listen to With Me Now, for example. You won't know that 15 of these bad boys were released into the wild from Woodhouse Moor Parkrun in Leeds way back in September, to be travelled around the country and followed, their progress tracked by a little GPS chip in each of the batons or batons. Gosh, this is going to, I'm going to say it both ways, tomato, tomato the whole time. They're keeping track of their progress as they go along. The idea is that the GPS pings at parkrun time. So, you know, that whoever takes them home, and then they pass them on to somebody else at another event, and then they travel to another event, and the idea is for them to go as far as possible. I think, although originally I believe the intention was to be within the UK, and of course some of them have already escaped, as evidenced by the fact that there was one at Albert Melbourne. We've had one at least in WA, which I know has then also chuffed off to Singapore after that. So I don't know what they're doing about the fact that the signal, like they're supposed to be tracking it at parkrun time on Saturday mornings, but obviously if they're overseas, that's not really going to work. I mean, they'll get a rough idea of where they were, but they will be GPS tracking at people's homes in other countries, and they'll go, oh, okay, well, that's not actually a parkrun event, so I'm not sure how they're going to figure out where they were. But yes, it's an around the world big community relay effectively now. It's actually just about to wrap up next week, is going to be the last week, so it'll be interesting to see how they bring it all together, and then what happens to the batons or the batons after it's all done. So that's what's happening. You've got one on your way to you, PK. That's a bit exciting. Do you think you'll get your hands on the gold member next week?
Well, I'm hoping. I'm one of the volunteers this week, coming this Saturday. So, yeah, I'll be certainly looking out for it. And, yeah, exciting times.
Yeah, something a little bit different to be participating in. It's nice. It's one of the ways that the whole worldwide parkrun community can come together and share our germs effectively.
I love it. Speaking of something a little bit different, I'm hoping that people will be wearing something a little bit different on Saturday, December 21, because it's is it International Ugly Singlet Day? What's the official term for that day, Mel?
International Ugly Christmas Singlet Day. Yes. That is the official term. We've got a Facebook event set up by Parkrun Adventurers. So if you have purchased an ugly Christmas singlet, or you have one from last year, or even if you just want to make one your own, that's absolutely fine. The important thing is that everybody uglies up on the 21st of December for the inaugural official Ugly Christmas Singlet Day. I'm excited. You're coming, PK. I know you're probably excited also.
I'm pumped. Yeah, I'm pumped. I can't wait to get it. And I think it's going to coincide, with my 150. Not that that's an official milestone, but bring it on, I say. So can we talk about when the singlets are being sent out?
Yeah, we did a post on the Facebook page this week with all the specifics around the dates for anticipated receipt internationally as well as locally. So all the singlets are in production at the moment, which means they're doing the dye sublimation and then they're cutting them out and then they're sewing them up and they're making them look as ugly as they possibly can. Shipping is not going to occur until the 4th of December.
So the koala with the pineapple, they actually had one sitting there and it was being hand stitched like live art. Is that why it takes a little bit longer? Each of them. Yeah.
Not quite, but when you do receive them, you will appreciate the actual detail when you look. There were lots and lots of hours that went into those singlets, and I hope you appreciate them in all their ugly glory when you receive them.
I can't wait to see all the posts from that day. I look forward to. I'm sure we'll share it on our Facebook page, but that's going to be an album, a glorious album in itself.
It will, and it is truly international. We've got people who are going to be ugly Christmas singleted up in the UK, in Germany, in New Zealand, in Australia. So they're all out there. It's going to be great.
Brilliant. Hey, we should probably talk about the Parkrun Adventurers listener meetup for those who may not have saved the date yet.
Yeah, well, I think it's time. It's definitely time for a reminder because it is only 16 weeks to go. That's 4 months away. It is coinciding with Womadelaide, which means accommodation may or may not be tricky to come by. So definitely one of those ones if people are planning on traveling to plan ahead and perhaps get hold of accommodation now, even if you haven't booked flights or travel to get there. And so just as a reminder, it's the weekend of Parkrun Day is going to be on the Saturday the 7th, but we will have shenanigans on the evening of Friday the 6th and then on Saturday, of course, and Sunday the 8th. And, it's a long weekend. The Monday is actually a public holiday in South Australia, I understand. So if people want to stick around for that extra day.
I'll still be here.
You'll still be there.
There is so much happening in Adelaide at that time. So, yes, Womadelaide is on and some great artists coming to Adelaide for that. They've already released the first lineup and more to come. But it's also the Adelaide Fringe and the Adelaide Festival. Lots of things happening. And the Fringe actually happens around the state as well. So it's not just in Adelaide. So who knows? You could be going to do a parkrun in one of the regional centres and there could be some fringe celebrations happening there. So if you are planning on coming to Adelaide or South Australia, don't be shy. Go and check out the Fringe website, the Adelaide Festival website. They've a lot of really cool things that have already been announced in our wonderful city. And, we look forward to having as many people here as possible to celebrate all that is awesome about our state, but also Parkrun. Can't wait.
Always great to add in some extra shenanigans to an adventure.
I love it. Love it. Speaking of shenanigans, I know you like, you and Scotty, you like to have a bit of nonsense and talk about random stuff. Well, I'm in a bit of a world of musicals at the moment. My youngest child is in the school musical this week. It's production week, and even though tomorrow night's has been cancelled because of hot weather, so annoying. But anyway,
is it ever too hot for jazz hands?
Well, you would think it would not be, but I think they're a little bit worried about the kids passing out, and one does not want to do that when they're in full musical outfit.
Fair enough.
And there's also all these other, there's another big event happening in January that my daughter is involved in, and they've just announced all the musicals for that. Anyway, it brought me back to my idea, probably not an original idea, but there should be Parkrun the Musical. Or even a running musical, don't you think? Is there a running musical that I completely have not thought of? I don't know. Do you know of one?
Running. Oh, I've been to quite a few musicals, but I don't think I've ever seen one about running.
No, and I know. Look, and it does seem random, but then look, I've been to Shane Warne the musical, which was absolutely brilliant, by the way, written by Eddie Perfect. And
really?
Yeah, definitely Spotify or Google that. It was very random. There's one about 9/11, which is pretty deep, but full on, about a true story relating to 9/11 called Come From Away. And talking of Eddie Perfect, he's now just done Beetlejuice the musical. Now I know that's based on on a film, but still, these random things that that people think up, that they think, that could never be a musical, but they work. So anyway, I don't know, maybe I should ring Eddie and see if he wants to collaborate with me some songs. I've got a few ideas for songs, though.
I reckon it would be a runaway hit.
Yeah, totally. Like there could be Don't Forget Your Barcode, or I was thinking along the lines of Don't You Forget Your Barcode, don't. As you walk on by, you just walk past the scanning table, just keep on walking.
That's what you need to do. You need to adapt it from an existing artist, just like they did with ABBA making the Mamma Mia musical. That's how you've got a hit in the bag.
I know. Anyway, I'm sure there are lots of other random songs that people are probably thinking right now, and I'm sure it's going to be top of your mind, no doubt. Thinking about random songs that would suit Parkrun the musical. I reckon we need some ideas on the Facebook page. I'll go there and start it. Maybe we can do a poll. I don't know. I know it's dangerous asking people to give us your feedback, but you know what? I'll go in there and post a few random ideas. I'm sure my singing has just spurred a lot of you along.
All right. Well, I'm pretty sure I have said it on the record that I've sworn off ever asking for contributions again. But since you are asking for them, PK, I think we can let this slide, and we'll pop a poll up on the Facebook page.
Yeah, Parkrun the musical. Should it happen? And what are your ideas for songs?
Oh, I'm excited. Thank you for coming back to join me on the pod again.
People are still listening, even though I just decided to randomly sing. But I did put it in at the very end, so there you go. No, it's awesome. And love it. Really, I really enjoy being part of this wonderful community. Thanks for letting me be a small part of it. And one last shout out to Mark Scarborough for doing your first RD spot on the weekend. Well done, mate.
Yes, and it sounds like James, his son, got his wife to a PB. Congrats, Nicole, on your PB as well.
Yay! Good to see our roving reporters getting out there and getting amongst it, because we're all just like everyone who's listening there. We're just park runners. We just happen to yabber a little bit, a bit more.
Somebody's given these people a mic, heaven forbid.
Stop it.